captains of various industries here and find out what's going on in their particular worlds of migration, or their particular spheres of migration when it comes to moving to Portugal. So let me just make sure we are live on YouTube. And perhaps while we're doing that, Astrid, do you have anything to share with us, forthcoming attractions and so on?
I do, Carl. There's people coming in now. It seems to be everyone's arriving, but I wanted to, and now I think I might have teased or mentioned it last week, but I can talk about it now. Jerry and I are very excited to have purchased a new website called kippertree.com, which is a real estate portal that is going to be very expat friendly for if you're wanting to buy a home here in Portugal. So I'll keep everyone updated as some progress happens with that. And also anybody who's here that's wanting to come along to the Porto meetup on the 26th of October. The wine tasting has sold out, but we've got a few seats left for the Mexican dinner afterwards. So if you are wanting to come on board, please or come along, please jump onto the events calendar on expatsportugal.com and get your tickets there. So yeah, they won't last long.
Fantastic. Okay, thanks for that. It's a shame about that. I mean, that sold like hotcakes, didn't it? The chance to go and learn how to taste wine and learn more about Portuguese wine there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good stuff. Okay.
We might have to, maybe we could do a second session. So
that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yes.
So a second session would be good. It depends on the demand. So it'd be good to know how many people would like to come so that we can contemplate.
Okay, best way to do that then is probably what? To go to the Expats Portugal forum if you're a member, otherwise indicate in the chat tonight and over on YouTube.
Yeah, or just email me at astrid@expatsportugal.com and say that they would be interested in coming as well, and then we can negotiate booking another session at Well Wines.
Wine tasting. Very good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that'll be very obvious. All right. I think we have representing the Queen of the Visas tonight. Let's go see how everybody's doing on our Dream Team panel. And it's a full one tonight. So get all your questions in about moving to Portugal with the professionals that we have lined up for you this evening. I think we've got Philippa from the A team in Lisboa. Is that right, Philippa? Are you joining us this evening in Gilda's place? Well, we might have to come back to you in just a moment. A colleague of Gilda, Ivana, up in Porto. Good evening to you. How are you this evening, Ivana?
I'm fine, thank you.
Very good to see you again.
I just have my birthday last Sunday.
Parabéns, você. I think it's important in Portugal, isn't it, to wish people a happy birthday after the event and not before. So I'm doing that safely. Did you have a good time?
Yes, I did.
Excellent.
I have my cousin over and we went out for lunch. It was very nice.
Very good. Okay. Celebrating in the way that the Portuguese do, with some fine food and wine, no doubt.
Yeah.
We have seen you before, and you made a very kind offer of offering coffee and cake if people popped by to your office.
Yeah. Tomorrow I'm taking chocolate cake to the office.
Okay. Everybody up to Porto. Right,
yeah.
You do that every day, every Friday. Is that what happens?
So tomorrow coffee, we'll have chocolate cake.
Fantastic. Now, for those people who don't know you, could you introduce yourself and tell us what you can do for people tonight on the Dream Team panel?
Okay, my name is Ivana Luna, and I work in Casa Portuguesa, and my job there, I'm responsible for relocation.
Okay.
Together with my colleague Ana Mota in Porto.
Yes.
And in Lisbon is Carolina and Carla.
Fantastic.
Okay, so
Portuguese a dream team, all of its own there. So you're taking care of things up in the north there. So great to have you here tonight. Anything specific to report on how you've been helping people recently, new areas and that sort of thing when it comes to helping people?
Well, we can help people in everything, with everything. Since if they want to live here in Porto, we will looking for a place for them, an apartment, a house, according to their likings, like the area and everything else. and we take care of the contract, and even just for not only for renting but buying too.
Very good.
If they want to buy a house, we have a team that will help with all the process.
Wonderful. Very good. And chocolate cake from time to
Yes,
time.
and after that, the utilities, internet, and everything.
Superb. Thanks for being here tonight. Fantastic. Any help you need moving to Portugal with Casa Portuguesa, Ivana will take those questions. Let's go to Dan now.
I'm here.
All right. Fantastic. I'm ready for those questions. Daniel, good evening to you from Reis and Pelicano. What's new in the world of law? How are you this evening?
Olá, boa noite. Good evening. All good on my end. I think that we haven't discussed one of the recent changes in the local lodging industry, and this is that licenses are now transmissible again, because they stopped being transmissible a few months back, let's say a year back, and quite recently they've become transmissible again, and this is something interesting in the industry. So if you do have a property that is that has the local lodging license, and you want to sell it, you may wish to market this as a selling point. Or if you are buying a property and it has a local lodging license, this may be interesting as well, because you will buy the with the license already requested. In municipalities that the license is indeed easy to obtain, well, obtaining the license from scratch is not that difficult. It's a bit bureaucratic, but it's feasible. But still, it's a selling point, and for people that want to invest and buy properties in Portugal, this may be a thing that will revamp the industry a bit, I think.
Very good, and excellent, of course, for the property owner who thought that
Yep.
added value might have disappeared, but it's now back on the table.
Correct. Yes, that's
Fantastic.
indeed the case.
Okay. And you can help people, just so we know, you can help people with conveyancing of that kind when they're transferring, selling property. You do exactly
Indeed.
that. Right?
Indeed, that's probably our main area at the moment is real estate transactions. People that wish to buy property in Portugal and want to have the eyes of a lawyer, an unbiased party in the full ordeal that can have a look into the contracts, have an assessment into the property documents. And we do have what we call a client's account as well that receives the money from the buying clients and then pays the client that is or the seller that is selling the house. We do issue the banking checks as well, because in Portugal real estate transactions are done the old-fashioned way at the closing with banking checks. So we take care of the full procedure indeed.
Excellent, with a great reputation, as you'll see the testimonials that Daniel has at Reis and Pelicano. And yes, so sometimes when real estate agents say, "Oh, it's fine, you can just work with our lawyer," everything will be just fine. Get a third party view and get the best in the business with Daniel.
That's the reality. The lawyer of the real estate agency will be working for the real estate agency, will not be working for the person that is buying the property. So indeed, a lawyer service is not strictly necessary, but in some purchases, I would say highly recommended.
Very good. Thank you, Daniel. Thanks for being here. Any questions around the law here in Portugal, and conveyancing questions if you've got them for Daniel tonight? Thanks for being here, Daniel. On that matter then of selling homes and houses, we've got Jeremy Klingers with us, a mortgage consultant. Jeremy, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you very much. Well, I don't help selling houses. I only help purchasing houses, obviously.
Of course, yes.
No worries.
Where one is sold, one will be bought, of course, and you help with the finance.
Exactly, I help with the finance, and to elaborate on Daniel, yes, I always tell my clients a lawyer is not mandatory, but please get yourself a lawyer. Don't save money in an expensive purchase on a lawyer, because he or she will be very essential to your purchase. Well, I have some news, good news. It's the first time since 2 years that the Euribor, the 12-monthly Euribor, has dropped down below 3%. So that's really good.
Yes.
For those who don't know what the Euribor is, the Euribor basically is the rate in which banks in Europe lend each other money, and it's always an indicator for your actual rate, your mortgage rate. And the higher the Euribor, expensive your rate is. So the lower, the better, because then it's cheaper to lend money from the banks. And yeah, it has been going down this last, let's call it 6-7 months, and the trend is that it will continue to go down. Obviously, I can't look into the future, but if we have to believe all the finance, all studied people who are
Well, those
eating
economists
and
that we know
breathing
and love.
finance,
Yes.
all exactly. Then in the coming years, the euro will go down, back down to where it was like 3-4 years ago when it was negative. So that's really a nice indicator. And at this point, I'm doing mortgages at around 2.8, 2.7, 3% fixed for a few years. So yeah, banks are also preparing themselves for a lower Euribor, for lower rates in the future.
Yes.
So the time is now again to lend money, even if you
Exciting
are a cash
times.
buyer. Even
Yep.
if you are a cash buyer, imagine that I can get you a deal where you can lend money for 3% and you keep your money and you reinvest your own money with a yearly return on investment of 5%. You're basically lending money for free. So please reach out to me. Let's talk
There you go.
finance.
Find Jeremy in the Expats Portugal Business Directory. And we've already got our first question for you. I need to welcome everybody from the Dream Team, and they'll come back to you on that. A question from Sunny. Thank you for that. Let's go to Nunu now. I will check with you, Philippa, in just a moment. And Philippa, if it's a struggle to get your sound right, there are questions coming in about visas, and perhaps they can be answered in the chat rather than.
I'm here. Hello,
Oh,
everyone.
Philippa, good evening to you. Lovely to see you.
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
Great to see you. Great to see you. How's your day been?
Thank you. Great.
Excellent. Okay, just a little bit of Zoom stress getting the sound right, but we've got you now, which is fantastic. Any news from the world of visas that you want to share with us? How are things at IMA?
Well, unfortunately, guys, as you know, things are slow at the moment, but we are looking at the future and seeing probably some things are changing. The cards are being issued more easy now. So I know a lot of people waited for months to get the cards, the residency cards, but recently people are receiving the cards in a month too. I don't know if they like that, but these are the most recent news that we have from our daily basis.
Thank you very much indeed. And thank you for being here. Questions already coming in for you as well. So we'll come back to you in just a moment. And may I say, I love your artwork as well. Very autumnal behind you there. So the lovely piece of artwork.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'm at home.
Yes. Oh, excellent. Very nice. And that's real art, isn't it? We're not talking about a Zoom backdrop here. That's some
No, this is really
artwork.
my house.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I didn't doubt it for a moment. Excellent. And we'll get the name of the artist later. That's fantastic. Cheers, Philippa. Thanks for being here this evening. Giselle is here from Global International Relocation from GIR. We saw Luis last week. And forgive me, Gisela or Gisela from GIR this evening?
Oh, yeah. Gisela.
Gisela, hello.
Yeah,
how are you?
It depends from which country you're coming from, but usually it's Gisela, okay? And I'm very happy to be here. I know Louis was last week, and I will be, in representation of Global International now assisting you and answering all your questions and doubts regarding moving.
Wonderful.
And yeah, all the process that involves, coming to Portugal and settling here.
Fabulous. I think it's for the Germans who'd call you Gisela, isn't it?
Gisela for the Germans.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, great to have you here. Wonderful to have you here this evening. From the sales department, I take it, but I'm sure you can tell us about everything to do with moving from anywhere in the world to Portugal.
Right.
And vice versa, right? Because you help people move from Portugal as well, of course, it has to be said.
Right. So we help people coming from any part of the world to Portugal, or from Portugal to other countries, or cross-trade, any point of the world. So we work basically with 186 countries. We have partnership with all, certified companies, and that allow us to support, these people to be aware of all the procedure from the beginning to the end, how the process starts, what kind of documentation they need, for the import custom clearance, which is the most not difficult, but challenging part
Yes,
to
nicely
avoid
put.
delays,
Yeah.
to avoid complications. So that's why it's important for us to provide all the information, you know, in time, to start the process with time so that we won't have any surprises at the end, and having a team that will support you and guide you all the way through. So that way, you know, the client will be obviously informed and know how long it's going to take the process, what will be, you know, the time frame from the beginning, starting with the visa, until the end when the goods will be delivered. So all this process is like we provide the full assistance in terms of documents, in terms of informing the logistic part, which, you know, make the client anxious about when the goods are coming, when will be clear, how long it's going to take. So obviously we start, you know, with the client, with the first contact, having the assessment with the goods, explaining to him how long it's going to take the packing, how long it's going to take the clearance, how long it's going to take the shipment, how long it's going to take the clearance at the other end. And once it's settled, you know, everything is finished at home, you know, the stress relief is completely, you know, at the end, and the people is happy to have their goods delivered at their home. That's what we want. We want to give them, you know, the stress-free of this process. So having everything running very smooth and great.
That's what was coming to mind. Settling nerves in 186 countries around the world. That's how you want to do it, isn't it? And of course, that's all the household belongings, and motor vehicles sometimes as well, and even the furry members of the family, moving cats and dogs around the world as well.
Right. We help. I know my colleague Rita has been also with you guys,
Yes.
and yeah, Rita and Patricia are colleagues from the pet department, so they help, you know, our clients to move their little ones, cats and dogs, basically at this time. But we don't know what comes in the future. Maybe more, you know, horses.
We're going to get
more.
a question like that. You know that, don't you? Can I bring my giraffe from Ohio? It might be Tom, so we'll find out.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. We'll have to look
Yeah,
into that.
well, this is a business that we're looking for. You know, we are planning to look, you know, to move forward and to grow in each department. That's what we want.
I mean, you've gone through an amazing expansion, haven't you, in the last few years?
Yeah,
Is going strength to strength, isn't it? Is there anything to report on recent developments, either in your industry or for you as a company in particular?
Yeah, actually, globally international, you know, talking about the background, you know, of the company, 16 years in the market, and each year we have many challenging things happening, but we were able to grow. We started with 8 people, now we are 100 people in the company, and we have warehouse in 3, you know, in 3 locations. In Algarve, we have in Porto, and we have in Lisbon.
Wow.
We have our own team, warehouses, climatized, isolated, that will keep the goods, you know, stored in a good condition. So even though the people, when they move, I know it's a whole process of looking for a house, you know, finding a place where to live. And sometimes, you know, they just bring the household goods, and what we wanted to give them is the fact of they know they can have a solution for any part, any step of the, you know, of the process. Like they don't have a house, they have a temporary home. Well, we have a storage place, the storage place that will, you know, keep your goods protected, insure. And then once you find a place where, you know, you want really to have your goods delivered, we will deliver your goods.
Fabulous.
We have also now developed in the last years the Department of Legalization of Vehicles, which has, you know, a big improve in the last years, because we have a specialized colleague that helps the people bring in the car without any problem, informing them in advance what are the documents. Basically, it's a lot of documentation that you need to take care in advance before proceeding bringing your car. So we need to know, you know, how long the car, you know, it should be under your name before you move your car, before you transfer your residence to Portugal. So having also the titles, because sometimes we have many cases like clients saying, well, I had a loan, but I still, I want to move my car. What happens when I pay this loan and then the titles come on my name? Yeah, we have a certain time to comply to avoid, taxes and duties. So we
Wonderful.
advise the client that if he doesn't comply with all the requirements of importing a vehicle to Portugal, obviously that is not the best plan. So
Saving another
that's,
headache potentially by the
yeah,
sound.
taxes are
Wonderful.
very high in Portugal. So that's
Yes.
why we
Yep.
know the rules, we know the procedure, we help them. And if there is not a solution for bringing the car, we have the other solution of purchasing a car. So we have the purchase service as well.
Very
here.
good. Okay.
Yeah.
Saving on stress and saving on money
Yeah.
there. When you
Yes.
do manage to bring your car here, I know a man who can help you insure it. It's 9:20 already, Nunu. Last but definitely not least, as far as I'm aware, on the Dream Team panel tonight, it's Senora Mensch from Winsurance. How are you this evening? Tudo bem?
Evening, everyone. Once again, thank you for having me. So I'm pretty well. I could start feeling a bit strange or odd, but I can share with you on the final thoughts if you have the time. Regarding insurance, pretty steady, pretty stable, no big changes. But I see that some expats start having the effect of be acculturated
Really?
by Portuguese.
Always happy to hear about this.
So one thing that we really love to work with people coming from abroad, especially from US and Canada, is that they have a strong insurance culture. So they are really worried about protection.
Yes.
And so this week we received an email from a customer, an American one, saying basically this: I'm thinking on dropping our health insurance policy because now I'm with the MEO, the cable TV, the
Yes.
system.
Yes.
And with €9 a month, I have an insurance, health insurance policy. I said,
Yes. Those famous
okay,
healthcare professionals, Mayo.
okay, now we also need to start to educate, and I say educate is not laughing, okay, explaining what are the differences. And
Yes.
when we put in the balance, look, this is what you what you have, and this is what you are thinking to have.
Yes.
Okay, thank you for clarifying. So please give us a call before doing
I think that's
whatever.
a great idea.
I'm not saying don't do that, because if you are aware about the differences and if you are aware of getting more risk to your side, perfect.
And
It's
there's
an
nothing
option,
you
but be
can
aware
have,
what you are choosing.
and you could have both if you really wanted to, couldn't you? You could take advantage of the Mayo for some reason and have another policy with you as well.
Yeah, but my answer is don't spend money on.
No need to waste your
Yes,
€9. Okay.
because even forget the insurance, the kind of insurance of the health insurance, but sometimes people request us an insurance, for example, travel insurance.
Yeah.
And when I think, in my opinion, and I always leave this very clear, this is my opinion, could be not yours.
Yes.
In my opinion, you don't need to do that because you already are partial covered through these on that, because we have your portfolio. We manage your protection portfolio through different insurance policies.
Yes.
So we always give our opinion, honest opinion. So if we think that you don't need to do that, don't spend money on that.
You could understand why,
Otherwise,
couldn't you? I mean, for an American, no, sorry to interrupt, but if for somebody from North America who is paying hundreds, if not thousands, and they get a quote from somebody like you mentioned for €9 a month, you can understand why they would be tempted. But it's best to have the call with you.
you will know.
Okay. Okay.
You will know the difference.
All
Yeah,
right.
so
So
please
I
feel
am
free to
safe
call us.
at winsurance.pt, or just give them a call there. Details in the Expats Portugal business directory. Thanks for being here tonight, Nunu. And I'm intrigued by your offer for later on. I will have a cultural question, and that will be the chance for you to share whatever it is you're going to share with us. I never know what he's going to share. And I'm so glad you did last week. That was so beautiful when you shared about the lady whose home was destroyed in the fires. She happened to be a sporting fan. and the football team, the club, and the fans have taken care of her. It's absolutely beautiful, which you can see at the end of the recording of last week's session. Don't go there just yet because we're answering your questions now. Tom is in Ohio, where it's 23 degrees. Summer is transitioning into fall nicely so far. Well done. And LaRonda, it's a hot 28 degrees where you are. Feels more like 30. Feels like our summer has finally arrived. Yes, I know the feeling. Back to Tom then for the first question for you, Philippa. I saw something on another site. What? There are other sites where it is to the point where the only way to get an appointment with IMA is to sue. Is that accurate? I heard that this isn't much of an issue for those applying for a D7 or D8 visa, nor is it a problem if you can renew your residency permit online. Could you give us a little bit of insight on that, please, Philippa? That was more of a golden visa look, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, what's happening now, Carl, is, as you know, slots have been unavailable for quite a long time. So we have a lot of situations, mainly for family reunion, waiting for more than 2 years. So people are just going to court, presenting their claim to get a slot.
Yep.
Regarding the D7 and D8 visas, unless the visa is issued without an appointment, but usually it comes with an appointment. So on that path, there's no issue about it. But however, it has been, we have been seeing some D7s being issued without an appointment. The thing is,
really,
the call center does not answer, and slots, if they are not available, people can wait a few months to get a slot. It's not usual. It's really a very special situation. It could happen here and there. But what people are doing, and the golden visas are a different situation, because the golden visa platform has been unavailable for quite a while. And mainly people go to court to get their approval, to get the slot, to get the biometric data done. So it can be a solution, and a lot of people are choosing that way, going to court.
Good. Well, not very good, but thank you for elaborating on that for us and giving us some insight for Tom there and Tom's question. Daniel, you may want to add something to this, because we have a golden visa special. I imagine you might bring this into the conversation next Thursday evening.
Yes, indeed. Well, suing has been one of the options that we are presenting our clients. Well, because the deadlines are really unimaginable. Investing a lot of money in a foreign country like Portugal, and then waiting 2.5 years to have the residency permit granted, it's something that it doesn't make any sense. One thing that did ease a bit of the pressure in the golden visa situation was the nationality clock and when it starts. So now it's supposed to start from the time that the process was submitted, and not the time that the card is issued. So some clients did decide to wait out and not sue SEF, but some nationalities, well, let's say for US nationals, as they can enter freely into Schengen space, traveling around Europe is not a problem. But a South African client, an Indian client, as they need Schengen visas to enter Portugal, well, having the card issued as soon as possible does make a difference. So it's not only the end game, the nationality at the end of the process, but the traveling in Schengen that makes the difference. And well, if you did invest this substantial amount of money in Portugal and you don't have one of the benefits, and this is having a residency card in the country, suing is the option, and this is what we've been doing with some of our clients indeed.
Well, okay, and we'll hear more from you next Thursday evening, and we'll have a golden visa update with you from 7:30, the earlier webinar of the evening, next Thursday evening. Great. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Philippa, for your input on that. Staying with you for a moment for a testimonial, Daniel. Oi, says Ubi in the YouTube chat. And I didn't know what this meant at first. DDR is the best. Don't buy nothing without him, not even a sandwich. Now, I think that's a bit excessive, but DDR obviously means Daniel Dos Reis, and I think you could even have your own hashtag trending on the internet tonight, hashtag DDR. He's with us on the Dream Team this evening. Thank you.
I'm not a great cook, but sandwiches I can do. So yeah, feel free to drop by the office.
Oh, okay. So
and a cup of coffee and a sandwich and well, legal talk.
Legal advice and a sandwich thrown in, and then a bit of chocolate cake from Havana as well. Amazing hospitality here this evening. Thanks, Daniel. Sonny got excited, Jeremy, when you were talking earlier on, as I think many other people would have done about this, the possibility of lower rates on mortgages here. And the question from Sonny was, how many years is that fixed for? What sort of fixed rate mortgages can you help people with?
Yeah, it's a common question. Good question, Sonny. I already answered in the chat. It's usually between 3 and 5 years fixed. It depends on the banks. Like, if you want the lowest fixed rate, then the lesser the term, the lower your fixed rate, because banks at the moment will not fix below 3% at 10 years or 15 years, because it's too long. So 3 to 5 years gives you a lower rate. We can also fix for the whole term, and then you're looking at around 3.5. But based on the South African rates, this is
wow.
what
They were eye-watering, weren't they? Denise saying a mortgage rate less than 5% is a dream for us in South Africa. Our current prime lending rate is 11.5%. So happy days over here for the likes of.
And later on, she said 27%.
Is that all? Okay, right. That's how much it can be. That is extraordinary.
Mind blowing.
When you're going to be here, Denise? Honestly, I need to get here and take advantage of that.
How can people pay that? Like 27%.
Yep. You're quite surprised. Sonny, I think we've got you unmuted there. Was that so you wanted to ask a question, or were you typing something into the chat there?
I'm sorry, this is my first time, and I'm not sure
problem.
of the etiquette, so I wasn't sure if I was allowed to talk or just type.
Yes, just to let you know, you're streaming on YouTube as well. So go ahead and feel free to ask your question.
I'll shut up after this, but
no, carry on. It's
no, that's why we're here.
The term of the mortgage, like what kind of length do they give?
Yeah,
typically, if I did want to go with the 3.5.
Yes, good question. So with the 3.5, it will be fixed for the whole term. It depends on your age. Banks lend until the age of 75 or 30 years, whichever comes first. And I didn't get a good look at you, so I can't.
I think Sonny's going to be fine with that.
Yeah. Sonny, so depending on your age,
there we go.
I got the thumbs up. So I think we can do 30 years for you, Sonny. You look young.
Fantastic. All right. Visual check there. and then the paperwork follows that, Sonny. So thank you for your question.
Exactly.
And they are great universal themes there, aren't they? So thank you for asking those, Sonny. I'm sure that'll be a to other people as well.
These apply to all non-residents buying in Portugal, because obviously for residents, or if you are Portuguese natural born living abroad and you're looking to relocate back after so many years living abroad, different rules will apply for you because you were born as a Portuguese.
Right. Okay. And Sonny, you've definitely come to the right place, because you were asking about the golden visa, and we've got a webinar all about that next Thursday evening. So do join us again for that. Thanks, Jeremy. The Naunu is here. Maybe Daniel knows this. Is there a longer approval time for marriage of the non-EU persons marrying in Portugal, where one has a residency card and the other one has a tourist visa? I heard it takes them 1.5 months to be approved, where if both have a residency card, then it takes just 2 weeks. Can you shed any light on that, Daniel?
Yes, indeed. If two people that do not have residency permits, they wish to marry in Portugal, the process takes a bit longer. Even if a non-EU not having a residency permit, it just makes the process a bit longer, because some double checks need to be done. But the deadlines that are mentioned in that message, I think that they are a bit optimistic, to be honest. If it's in Lisbon and Porto, a marriage procedure may take around 3 to 4 months to be completed. If it's outside of Portugal, in the Porto, Lisbon, and the big cities, it's faster. But still, I would say a normal deadline to obtain a marriage in Portugal in the registry, a month to a month and a half, even 2 Portuguese people going to the registry. So it takes a bit, and it's not something that you can go to Las Vegas and get married on the same day.
I was going to ask you that. So there's nowhere in Portugal. We've never talked about this, have we? This is very interesting. So you have to apply to be married in Portugal. Correct. And there's quite a wait. There's a cooling off period by the sound of it.
Not really, but there is somewhat of a waiting line.
Yes.
And you need to deliver the documents, and the documents need to be properly assessed.
Yes.
If it's two Portuguese people, as the documents are Portuguese, it's easier to have that clearance and the speedy procedure. But for non-Portuguese citizens, the main verification that needs to be done is that person eligible for marriage? And when we say eligible, is this person either single or divorced? So documentation that prove that that person is indeed not married somewhere else needs to be delivered to avoid bigamy and other strange situations that may occur for someone that is married 3 or 4 times without prior divorces. And one thing that I think that everyone should be aware, that once you obtain the Portuguese nationality, if this is your plan, you should register your marriage. And if you get divorced, even if abroad, you should register your divorce. And if you get remarried, so on and so forth. So we've had situations of Portuguese citizens registering divorce, marriage, divorce, marriage, divorce, marriage. So 3 situations or 6 situations in their life that got registered. And this takes time, because especially the divorce done abroad needs to go to the to a superior court in Portugal to be registered. So if you do become Portuguese, be attentive to this. You will need to register your marriages and divorces here.
Very interesting. And it's amazing, isn't it? After all these years, we haven't spoken about this before, getting married here. A couple of questions I've got. So, and I think you've addressed this. There is no Las Vegas equivalent in Portugal where you can go.
Not at all.
All right, asking for a friend. Let's say you've got people who have recently moved here, and they say, "Oh, this is so lovely. We've got starting our new life here in Portugal. We got married in the UK. We got married in the US, for example. Let's get married again in Portugal."
That's not possible. At least in the registry, you can do a ceremony. You can just rent a farm, and you can do a party, throw a party for your friends. Yes. Totally possible, of course, but within the civil registry, that's not possible at all, because you are already married.
Wow. Okay, so you could renew your vows and have a ceremony, but not an official one, not be remarried again.
Correct. That's it.
All right.
You
Daniel
can
might
eventually
do the
have,
sandwiches as well.
I'm sorry, just to add a quick detail. You can eventually have a religious ceremony, if you wish, but not in the Portuguese civil registry. So it's nuanced. Let's say that you want to go to a special church to do the ceremony. Totally possible. You just can't do it in the civil registry in Portugal.
Very interesting. Yeah, incredible that we haven't spoken about that before, but that's some really good and useful information. So thank you for asking that, the Now New Tonight, and thanks, Daniel, for those excellent answers. Steve is asking, hello, we will be considering a D7 visa. Back to marriage. Do we need to be married or in a registered relationship to apply? That's a good question, isn't it? Probably for Philippa, although I'm sure you know the answer to that as well, Daniel. But Philippa, what's your view on that?
So, so people can apply separately, or if it's a couple, they can apply. You can have the main applier, and then the other member of the couple can apply with the visa for family members. So in Portugal, they can, if they are married, they just need to prove that family connection. If they are not, they have to prove that they are connected for at least 2 years. That's how we recognize civil communion.
Very good. I think Steve would maybe have been suspecting that you had to be married for that, but that's a really good and helpful answer there for Steve. Thanks, Philippa, on that. This shocked me a little bit, Denise, when I saw this. From my mouth to God's ears. I can't claim that on the Dream Team session on Thursday evenings at 9. But yeah, 2 years your nationality application. So yeah, well, I'll certainly put my hands together for you on that in prayer, Denise, and hope that and fingers crossed and everything else crossed, so that that can change soon. And to answer your comment, Jeremy, about how do people manage, you don't. You just have to survive. No choices over there, by the sound of it, from Denise. So it's pretty sobering news from South Africa for Denise there. Let's go over to YouTube. Please keep your questions coming. We haven't got much longer. We've got 20 minutes left of the Dream Team session this evening. And we've got a surprise from Nunu and a cultural question that I want to ask everybody about the Dia da República, which is coming up on Saturday, and how that should be celebrated. I've got a feeling with a lie-in for many people on the Dream Team, but we'll find out officially at the end of the session tonight. Let's go to quite a few questions on YouTube. This is great for you, Nuno. With all these fires in Portugal, thankfully, I mean, we've seen the back end of that now, and it's raining as well to boot. So it was horrific, but I think it's safe to say it's over now for the time being. With all these fires in Portugal, says Michael, please explain how home insurance works in Portugal with such a small monthly premium. What is covered in the case of complete loss from fire, flood, or earthquake for you there, Nuno?
Okay, so I think that you are used in USA as well as in other countries to have a liability coverage that will cover the damages or if the fire starts at your home and fired other ones. Okay, I think that is through the liability insurance. Nevertheless, in Portugal, the fire coverage is mandatory to property, to the building. Okay, so supposedly everyone has their apartment or houses insured. So if the fire starts at my house and all the building go to ruin, is not my insurance policy that will pay the remain of the building. Everyone is liable to insure their own part.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
In Portugal, insurers, they don't offer this coverage as a standalone. It's only what we call a multi-risk. So it's a lot of coverages. And this is other point that I think that you are not used to. You are used to all risks insurance policy. So basically, an all risk insurance policy only mention what is excluded, and if it's not excluded, is automatically covered.
Oh, okay.
In Portugal, we have the generic exclusions, and then we have the denominated risks. So to be insured to what damage is, you need to read in your insurance policy what the damage is. And then this coverage will have some exclusions too.
Oh,
So if you think that this is a bit complicated to understand, give us a call.
yes, I was just going to ask you if that's all right. So again, people can call you if they want some clarification on that.
If I may add a little bit towards that, because it's always a subject also on the mortgage side, if the property has been evaluated. So if you get a property value, if you get a mortgage done and we get the property valued by a valuator, imagine that you're buying a property for 500K and the valuation report comes back and it's at 500K. There will be always a lesser amount on the valuation report, which is dedicated to the insurance. And as Nuno said, it's mandatory. It's the multi-risk insurance, which covers, well, at least fire, but also other. And you are allowed to, if you don't do the mortgage for me, but you're allowed to get your insurance somewhere else as long as it covers the basic needs which the banks oblige you to. You're not obliged to take it out with the bank, okay?
Oh, very good. Okay, that's useful information, isn't it?
Yes, because then you can speak to insurance.
Yes, very good. Good to know. Thank you for that, Jeremy. And I think
don't call me Germany because I'm not coming back.
Why do I keep calling you Germany?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think if I do that for you, I have to.
But
it wasn't that, I can assure you. I could do it for everybody else. I could call Daniel Denmark, couldn't I?
No, please.
But I'll just. Yes, okay. I'll try and just call you Jeremy, which would be so much easier, wouldn't it? This evening, let's stay with you. Sonny's getting great value this evening. What percentage deposit is required for a mortgage, Jeremy?
Ja, das ist eine gute Frage.
That's not helping.
No, no, sorry. I'll just stick to English.
Please.
Sonny, non-residents usually banks require 30% deposit, okay? Whilst secondary residents can be financed up to 80%. We do see that banks usually prefer to stick to the 70% loan to value. So if you can take that into account, amazing. If you can make it work with 70%, let's make it work with 70%. If I can get you 80%, then I will.
Very good. Thanks, Jeremy. Okay, let's go back to Michael in the YouTube chat over there. You had your question answered about insurance. You had one for Gisela as well. Do you have a company in the USA that helps to pack out stuff? I think by that, Michael means agents on the other side of the water, where people are moving from the origin country, and trusted people who can help pack things up over there. I know you can do that, can't you, Gisela?
Yeah, for sure. Our service is a turnkey service. So what we do is we have partners in the USA, and they work the same way as we do. You know, in terms of packaging, they use, you know, the same regulations. So the packers are people specialized in full export wrapping, doing the spatial packing for different kind of furniture or items that require spatial treatment. Like, for example, if we are transporting a piano, we will need a specialized team to carry the piano and to crate the piano.
Yes.
It's called the piano handling, right? If we have a marble table, if we have a fine artwork that is, you know, needs a special care, obviously the team will be, you know, and this starts at the time when we make the assessment through a virtual survey. Like if we do it online, you do it with me. And what I do is I see the house, I see every item. So the client will show me everything that he wants to transport. And that is when it starts the process, because I will, you know, tell them that I need this packing for these items. So for the paintings, we have special boxes. For the ornaments, other kind of boxes. For clothing, for shoes, for any kind, you know, of items, we use different kind of material. So what we do, we pack everything, we load, we make the packing list, and we do all the services. So the people don't need to disassemble anything. We will do it, as well as a destination. We will assemble all the furniture, like bulky items, you know, most of the time, like beds or tables, or something that requires to be disassembled, you know, like big shelvings or cabinets, buffets, that we will do it. And here as well, we do the unpacking.
Like you say, turnkey. You could just get you give the keys at the origin country to the packers, and then you can turn up. You go on a cruise and then turn up in Portugal with a key, open the door, and all your stuff is there laid out.
Right. That's what we you know, we want them to feel like they can trust us, because we are there to do everything. And then once they are in Portugal, they will have their home installed. Everything will be like, you know, new home, but feeling that they're having the things where they used to live in the USA, but here in Portugal. So they will be, you know, feeling like we are at home already. Everything is, you know, settled. Everything is assembled, and everything is unpacked. So that's the way we offer the service. And the clients, you know, they like this kind of environment of feeling that you have somebody that will do everything. Obviously, it's a bit of tension, because, you know, you're moving your house, you are going to another country, but you will see that everything will be easy, you know, because we will take care of everything at destination. Everything will be done. And once you're installed, you will feel like, okay, I'm finally, you know, at the end of the process, because it's a long process, you know, a lot of pressure, a lot of stress.
Yeah, beers in the fridge and the remote control in the right place on the sofa. Fantastic. Full service there, Michael. Pedro, forgive me. I forgot to mention you were here tonight. Pedro Franco is here, our tax advisor from A. And we've got a question for you, Pedro. How are you this evening?
Great. Good evening to you all.
Good to see you, my friend. Before we go to the question, is there anything to report? Any changes that we might need to be aware of from your department, as it were, your neck of the woods?
For expats, I think not at the moment. We are just watching the discussion between the two main parties, so the government and the opposition.
Yes.
And they are discussing the budget, which is by rule, it's a law that will bring a lot of tax novelties, so tax changes that will come into force in January. And but so far I've seen nothing that implicates anything for expats. for incoming people.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you. And should we be worried? Because we've seen that the president, Marcelo, has urged the politicians to behave with maturity and get the job done, as it were. Well, we had a holy man step in today. And I think a bishop has said also reminded them to show maturity. What's going on?
Nothing.
It's just normal, is it?
It's just not just theater.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
Just sit down, relax, open the popcorns, and
Come on.
just wait for 1 month more, and the budget will be approved.
Good to know.
Maybe next year we can have a budget rejection and elections,
Yes.
but not this year.
Please, not this year.
I could bet I could bet a lot of money on that. So.
Okay, good. All right. That's which we shouldn't take as financial advice from the Dream Team tonight, but we get your message. we get the idea. And the question for you, Pedro, is Lynette is asking, what about taxes on our property that we have owned for years? And I don't know if do we need further clarification from Lynette, or is that enough to go on?
Tax on the property that we own for years. So
yes.
Presumably, if the property is not generating any income, the only tax that you pay is the ownership tax, which is the real estate tax, which is quite low in Portugal.
Very good. Okay, good to know. If that's what you were asking, Lynette, all well and good. If that isn't what you're asking, we might need a bit more information from you. Okay,
yes,
and we prioritize questions over here on Zoom with the Expats Portugal premium members. Become a member, and if you do so tonight, let us know, because we like to celebrate that. If you have become a member this evening, do let us know, and we'll give you a shout out this evening. The Naunu is over here on Zoom with a follow-up question. I think you've dealt with this, Daniel, but this might be of use to other people as well. If the tourist visa expires while waiting for approval, is the second person considered illegal until approval, or do they get some document that they are waiting? Also, while registering, is it favorable in any way if an attorney is present with the person with the tourist visa? Can you throw some light on that situation?
Indeed, this is connected with the marriage question. And if someone is waiting for the marriage procedure to move along, as we have a law nowadays in Portugal that, well, it's a legacy from the pandemic times, all visas will be approved or will be valid until June 2025. So that person can stay in Portugal while the pieces of the registry, the civil registry, are moving, and will not be kicked out, will not be expelled, will not face any type of problems, because the Schengen visa, that tourist visa, will be automatically extended until June 2025. So no serious problems are expected on that. But let's say that this was not the case. The procedures that CEF, now EMA, can start to remove someone out of the country, they're slow. And if you get notified to remove yourself out of the country, but if you reply, well, I've submitted my marriage application 2 or 3 months ago, nothing will happen, because EMA will understand that, well, there's another bureaucratic system in Portugal that is taking its due course and time, and they will not expel someone that is in the middle of a marriage procedure. That doesn't happen, fortunately. We are a country that is bureaucratic and slow, and sometimes the slowness does cooperate in that department. But even if that was not the case, our public authorities usually are humane, understanding these types of situations. So if you're in the middle of a marriage procedure, no one will kick you out for sure.
Okay, so slow but compassionate. I shall
Correct.
summarize that. So there you go. And Sunny is also asking, let me go to Fiona first. I think you asked your question first, Fiona. When is IMA opened or reopened for permanent residency applications, a golden visa applicant? I think Daniel's answered that for you there with a kind of standard response. Yes.
Scarcity of bookings and suing CEF is the answer.
All right. Thanks, Daniel. Sunny, are there specific countries that get better benefits? Now, is that mortgage benefits, or is that more general, Sunny? You might have to elaborate for us there. A couple of quickies then from YouTube before we go to our final question of the evening, which is about the public holiday, the Republic Day here on Saturday, 5th of October. We've got Leia, good evening to you over on YouTube. Is it possible now to get an appointment with IMA for the EU citizen spouse Article 15? I think you've kind of referred to that, haven't you, already this evening? Should we go to Philippa for that, with that particular opening of IMA appointments for EU citizen spouses Article 15?
So these slots are more common, but at the moment everything is closed, so we don't have an idea when they will reopen again. But these for Article 15 are usually available with more often.
Okay, thanks, Philippa. Thank you for the question, Leia. Good to see you over there on YouTube. I think we are going to have to ask the last question now over here on Zoom. Urge you to become a premium member over here, YouTube guys. And the question from Sunny is, in terms of going through the process, is it easier or better to be a UK or a US citizen? That's a kind of very subjective question, I think, isn't it? The more with a visa, for example, Philippa, the conditions are the same wherever you come from. There's no preferential treatment depending on which country you come from.
No, well, the consulates work differently according to the countries. That depends.
Yes.
But in theory, all are the same, and as long as they fulfill the requirements, they will be eligible for the visa.
Right, and no difference with mortgages,
No.
says Jeremy as well. I think, yeah, basically there is that shouldn't prejudice you positively or negatively with where you're coming from, or it shouldn't do anyway. Jeremy, did you want to add something to that?
Yeah, not with these two countries, no. There are some countries which are blacklisted by banks, obviously.
Okay, yeah.
So it depends where our expats are from. But
Yes.
let's say at the moment, Russia, no bank is lending against people from Russia or somebody earning in Russia. Okay, can be a non-Russian earning in Russia, for example. It's out of the question. Some African countries are blacklisted, and some are not blacklisted, but still are countries of cautiousness or extra checks, and they will have to do extra checks on.
That's yes.
On your
It turns out
persona.
to be a much bigger question than I originally thought. But yes, I think it's safe to say if it's US or UK, you're fairly safe there. Let's
You're
stay
safe.
with you, Jeremy. I'll ask our last question, our cultural question for the evening. How should Dia de República be celebrated here in Portugal for the benefit of the foreigners watching tonight? It's this Saturday. It's always the 5th of October. You may have been working so hard you didn't even realize it was just around the corner. No, you didn't, did you?
No,
Okay,
no.
right.
No, I haven't. And with all the free days we have, with all the bank holidays, I get lost.
Yeah, you're right. So nothing special for you.
No, just
you won't be...
celebrate it. It's a Saturday. Just go out lunch, have a good fish, have a good wine, sangria, whatever. Sit in the
That's
sun.
Jeremy. That's every Saturday. But anyway, I'll take your point. I'll take your point.
Exactly.
Thank you very much for being here tonight. Fine, Jeremy.
Thank you for having me.
Portugal Business Director. Gisela, how will you be celebrating the Dia de República, if I may ask?
Okay, there it goes. Celebrating Dia de República, well, it will be a big party. Obviously, every weekend for me is a party.
Okay,
because from Monday to Friday, we work a lot, obviously, each one of you know. And then weekends for me is always, or relaxing or going out, enjoying, like Jeremy said, the good food in Portugal, good wine. And why not, in a special day like this Saturday? It's too bad that it's not a weekday.
That's the worst thing about this one, isn't it? That is the worst thing about it. And because it's always the 5th of October, it doesn't get moved to a weekday. So there you go. You won't be protesting to bring back the royal family then, I take it. Okay, fair enough. Gisela, thank you very much for being here.
Thanks to you too and to you all. Thank you.
All right, wonderful. Pedro, what's your answer? A royalist or a Republican? How will you be celebrating on Saturday?
That's a difficult one.
Right, okay. We don't have enough time.
No, but I have a baptism, so I will not be attending the Republicans party. But I'm a Republican, of course. I'm not a realist, even though I respect some realist countries. But I prefer the republic system because you can change them from time to time.
Yes, it helps, doesn't it? Okay.
Yes, I guess it helps.
Very good, Pedro. Thanks for being here tonight. You were going to add something there?
No, That's it.
Okay, thank you for being here. Fine, Pedro. If you need tax advice through imigrant.pt, find Pedro in the business directory. Enjoy the baptism and lots of love and best wishes to the youngster there. Thanks, Pedro, for being here
Thank you.
tonight. Philippa, how about you?
So I live in Lisbon, so I will be visiting our parliament with my kids. So I'll be bringing them to see where the laws are made.
Wonderful. So it is a celebration, and this does
Of course.
happen. It's an educational moment.
Yeah, of course.
Very good. Okay. All right. We can't say the same in the UK, obviously, but thank you very much for your answer. Thank you for being here this evening. Great job, and love to all the team at EIA, if you will.
Thank
please.
you all.
Thank you very much. Okay. Best regards to Gilda. Daniel, what do you say? Sometimes you get called, well, for obvious reasons, King Daniel. Does that mean you have a particular view on this?
I'm a Republican for sure.
Okay. All right.
I believe in the system of one man, one vote, in that everyone is equal upon the law. So I don't believe in monarchies, but I will not be celebrating the Republic. I will be celebrating the birthday of a kid that is from a friend of mine, and we will be out in a park. So it's going to be lovely, and friends just meeting in the park. So I'm looking forward for it.
Are you running in the marathon on Sunday?
No.
Right,
For the time being, I've eased down a bit on the training. Next year, I will consider stepping up again.
All right, fantastic. I'll ask you again next year. Thanks for being here, Daniel. You can find Daniel, of course, in the Expats Portugal Business Directory as well. And finally, if I've done it correctly this evening, we've got Nuno. How will you be celebrating? And is this connected with the surprise you wanted to share with us?
Oh, it's not a surprise. It's not a surprise. It's only that I have a controversial position. I 100% agree with Daniel, but I think that the monarchy systems of 100 years ago are not the same, because nowadays on European countries that has monarchies, we are equals. So I think that the position was not about the monarchy. I understand the results, but we are also celebrating murder people to impose a new system.
Yes,
not
true.
As the April 25 revolution, completely different.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
So yeah, also if we think in Portugal, and if the problem is having one same person with a not so good behavior, well, we can see this also on republic systems. For example, our president, Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa, which I really agree with him during the first mandate. On the second one, we just need that this ends as soon as possible.
Right.
Okay. So it's not about the system, it's pretty much about the person that is leading the country or the system or whatever, or the organization.
Yes.
And if we think what make Portuguese people more proud about is what happened during the monarchy times, forget football or sports, okay, and not during the Republic. So
yes,
I don't have a preference. I think that we are all maybe we just follow some thoughts that they are lost on times, or we are not so tuned with. So honestly, on a humble position, I'm a bit lost.
What a thoughtful and honest response. Thank you very much, Nuno. What else was it you wanted to share with us?
No, basically this. I'm feeling lost, a bit lost. So I understand
as we approach Republic Day, we have a lost citizen here.
Yeah.
Right. If somebody, what do we do? Put you in lost property? I don't know if we've got, Astrid, have we got an Expats Portugal lost property box we can put Nuno in for a little while?
Let it flow.
Make one.
We'll have to, we're going to make one for you, okay, Nuno? Because we need you to be great again and rested and back on your mojo again next Thursday. Thank you, mate. Thank you so much. And thank you again for your wonderful surprise that you shared with us last week. That was absolutely beautiful. And you can see that at the end of the recording of last week's session. Astrid, I think we've said everything, haven't we, about the Golden Visa next week and then the announcements earlier on?
All done. I think we're all good.
Wonderful.
Don't forget Hank and Connie's Social Saturday on Saturday, though. So
there you go.
Please go to the events page on expatsportugal.com and register for your link for that. So I can see that Connie's here. So yes, she'll be very happy to have you all there.
Wonderful. Okay, thanks very much, everybody. And sorry to keep you those extra 4 minutes. Happy baptism, happy birthday that we heard about, and all the best. Have a great week until we see you again next Thursday. Take care and bye for now. Boa noite. Ciao, ciao.